We opened a bank account with Chase Bank and put funds in it. And then we just started the process of building the organization up, a brand new organization. And we find out less than 6 weeks in it, we go to make another deposit in it. And they said, your bank account's been canceled. We'll be sending you back your funds. That's it.
The attorneys general of 19 states have sent a letter to JPMorgan Chase, the nation's largest bank, accusing it of discrimination against conservative religious groups, including the National Committee for Religious Freedom.
We were told, the decision was made at corporate level. It's secret. We're not going to tell you about it, and it's irrevocable.
Chase denies any such discrimination.
They did come back to you and say that they would reconsider, but only if you would provide your donor list and what candidates, if any, you would be supporting.
Yeah, and you're going, that's not required under the law, and you wouldn't require that of other groups. And to my knowledge, you don't require that of other groups. Now, maybe they do.
Do I believe that had the long-serving CEO of Chase Bank, Jamie Dimon, known, he would have signed off on canceling the Brownback Group's account for ideological reasons? I do not.
Please answer with a simple yes or no. Does your bank have a policy against funding new oil and gas products? Mr. Dimon.
Absolutely not, and that would be the road to hell for America.
For clarity, I think it is worth noting that the names of the states whose AGs signed this anti-Chase letter aren't just Republican or red states.
Basket of deplorables.
Mrs. Clinton's condemnation was deplorable, but it was Barack Obama that enabled the most senior management at hundreds of U.S. corporations to conclude that condescension toward millions of Americans was okay.
It's not surprising then that they get bitter. They cling to guns or religion or antipathy towards people who aren't like them, or a way to explain their frustrations.
After Donald Trump was elected president in 2016, it was generally recognized that culturally ignored and condescended to voters had put him across the finish.
Dirty money!
You might have thought then it was time to tap the brakes on the left's aggressive diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda. It didn't happen. In the wake of George Floyd's killing in 2020 and the media's elevation of the Black Lives Matter policy agenda, something snapped inside America's institutions. Any recognition of the long-established utility of political neutrality was abruptly abandoned.
This is Jim Crow on steroids, what they're doing in Georgia.
One of the first organizations to cave was Major League Baseball over the state's new election integrity law.
Will the White House say explicitly that it is not trying to influence corporations or organizations to take action on state-level decisions like this?
We've not asked corporations to take specific actions.
I would strongly support them doing that.
Fossil fuels have got to go!
It is obvious that much of corporate America's leadership thought that aligning itself with the left's version of what one should think about race, identity, and climate was going to be a low-risk decision to insulate from these issues. Sorry, that's not the way the Democratic Party's careerist left does business.
Open abortion clinics on federal lands in red states right now.
And just ask BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, who invented ESG, or investing for environmental and social justice goals.
How much has the political backlash, thank you, to ESG investing had on you and BlackRock?
We lost about $4 billion of flows from various states. But in long-term flows last year, we were awarded $400 billion.
Problem is, once you've made this Faustian bargain, your new partners in the activist left or Biden bureaucracies show up for payment each day.
And in the first time in my professional career, attacks are now personal. They're trying to demonize issues.
Earth to corporate leadership. Your problem goes far beyond the current backlash from the organized right.
BI is dead.
How depressing to think that the next generation of business leadership believes its contribution to the productive life of the United States is obsequious public virtue signaling. Perhaps it's time to listen to one of the few American businessmen who could pass for a household name. Ironically, the recipient of the letter from the 19 AGs.
We live in the greatest country in the world, predicated on foundational beliefs in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, the sanctity of the individual, and the promise of equality and opportunity for all. These core values are the fabric that bind us as Americans. We're the best of what shines through, especially in times of adversity.